Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. If you ever feel like you've gone too far, failed too deeply, or sinned too long for God to take you back, then you need to meet a man named Manasseh. His story is tucked away in the Old Testament, but it shines like a lighthouse for every prodigal soul who wonders whether God still cares. Manasseh was not just a sinner. He was not just rebellious. He was not just spiritually careless. He was, by every biblical measure, the worst king Judah ever had. He led an entire nation astray. And yet, and this is the miracle, God still pursued him. As Lent begins this week, we are focusing on repentance and what it means by looking at some Bible stories where repentance happens. And nowhere is that clearer than in the little-known story of Manasseh. Manasseh became king at 12 years old. His father, Hezekiah, had been one of the godliest kings Judah ever knew. Hezekiah restored worship, tore down idols, and led the nation back to God. But Manasseh rejected his father's faith. The Bible tells us that Manasseh did evil in the sight of the Lord, according to the abominations of the nations. He rebuilt pagan altars. He worshipped the stars. He practiced witchcraft and divination. He consulted mediums and spiritualists. He even practiced child sacrifice with his own sons. Manasseh led a sinful life, and what's more, he led the whole nation in doing it too. The Bible is very clear about what happened next. God warned them. God called to them. God urged them back. And when they didn't respond, the Assyrians invaded. They captured Manasseh. They put a hook in his nose. They bound him in bronze chains. They dragged him to Babylon. The king who once sat on a throne now sat in a prison cell. The man who once commanded armies now had no power at all. The man who once worshipped idols now had nothing left to cling to. And in that dark, lonely prison cell, something happened that had never happened before in Manasseh's life. The Bible tells us that Manasseh humbled himself greatly before God. It wasn't a partial repentance. He humbled himself greatly. It was a powerful turning, a powerful repentance, and the God he had ignored for decades heard him. The God he had offended with idols forgave him. The God he had rebelled against restored him. This is the heart of God. This is how God receives repentance. This is the God who welcomes sinners to return to God. As a result, God restored Manasseh to his throne. God brought Manasseh back to Jerusalem, and God gave him another chance, and Manasseh was never the same. You see, repentance always leads to recognition. Manasseh didn't just feel sorry. He didn't just pray a prayer. He didn't just make a private decision. He changed. He tore down the idols he had built. He removed the altars he had erected. He restored the worship of the Lord. He commanded all of Judah to serve God. This is what repentance looks like. Humility, admitting sin without excuses. Honesty, confessing sin without hiding. Change, turning from sin without delay. Restoration, repairing what sin damaged. Manasseh's story teaches us that repentance is not about how you start. It's about how you finish. No one is too far gone for God to reach. God will pursue you even when you run away. Repentance begins where pride ends and produces visible change. Manasseh's story is not primarily about how wicked a person can be. It's about how merciful God can be. It's about the wideness of God's grace, the persistence of God's love, and the power of repentance to rewrite even the darkest stories, even our own. Thanks for sharing these moments with me, and remember to let this day belong to God.